Shalom, shalom. I'm going to start off this video by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elder bishops, a great millstone that rule well, that teach well, while learning the truth, 100% according to the Bible. I also want to say shalom to the elect, the 144,000 men, prophets, servants scattered abroad the four corners of the earth. And shalom to the Akwaf, which are the sisters that are sincere, your children. Shalom. And in today's video, as you can see, from the title, it's from the Brother of the Hopeful Like 3. It said World War III is coming near you. So you basically got this guy, could be an Edomite or he could be a Jake. You never know. But he's basically talking about, how he see World War III basically ramping up around the world. And that's what the men of the Lord have been ultimately warning you people about, starting with the apostles and the elders, man, that World War III is going to take place because it's written all throughout the scriptures that there's going to be a third world war. And a lot of these people don't realize that we're living in a time of Bible prophecy and that this war is all prophetic and that it is going to happen, So we're basically going to get into this video so we can listen to what it is the guy's saying. And I'm going to get a few precepts. And Lord's willing to be a fine video. But with that being said, I'm going to say fair use. 1976 Copyright Act, fair use.
I don't want to be alarmist, but I kind of feel like World War III is starting for real this time. Like I was watching those strikes from both Iran and Israel against each other.
And as you can see from what the guy is saying, he said he think it's going to be for real this time. And ultimately, I think it's going to be the real thing as well, that it's about to escalate, because I actually watched a video earlier where you had NY Prepper, the guy who I'm always getting the news from. He basically said how you got Iran launching up or preparing, I should say, over 2,000 plus missiles to launch at Israel. So it's definitely intensifying, man. But I'm going to get this precept right here. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1. I'm going to read all the way to verse 8, right? But there's a time and season for everything, and we're living in a time of war. That's the spirit that the Lord ultimately has on the earth right now. That's why you have so many of these different nations that are ultimately clashing with one another, all over the world, because this is the spirit that's upon the earth, right? And this is Ecclesiastes chapter 3, and I'm going to start at verse 1. It said, to everything there is a season and a time to every person under the sun, right? Verse 2, it said, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted, right? A time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn, right? And a time to dance, a time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to get and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to cast away, a time to rend and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak, right? This is the point, verse 8, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. And that's the time that we're living in right now, brothers and sisters, wearing that spirit of war. That's the spirit that Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai ultimately has upon the earth right now, And that's how we know we're getting to the latter end and to the end of this place, America, and it's the world as these people know it, man, because World War III is going to happen, man. It's biblical prophecy. It cannot be stopped, no matter how much Trump try to talk about negotiating peace deals with all of these different nations, Russia and Ukraine, Israel and Iran. It's going to happen, man, and that's why I'm going to pull out this precept. This is Revelations chapter 11. Verse 14, it said, the second woe was past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly, man. Talking about World War III. It's coming quickly, and we can see through everything that's happening over there in the Middle East, right? With, Iran and Israel ultimately striking each other back and forth now, that, hey, we could be at that time where these things are about to escalate, man. Lord's will it is, But I'm going to get back into the video so we can just listen to a little bit more or what it is the guy's saying. But this is the time that we're in, man. World War III is going to happen, man. And a lot of people don't believe it, of course, but I mean, hey, it's going to take place, man. So yeah, we're going to get back to the video.
The news coming out about how Russia is going to be putting boots on the ground to help Iran. North Korea is going to be doing the same. France is already going to be helping Israel.
Right, you hear a lot of things in which it is he's saying, and we know all of this is prophecy. And I'm going to go to a precept just touching on that, right? This goes into what it says in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 38, right? And that's the war that is ultimately coming together, man. Also, Jeremiah 50 and 45 because we know ultimately, as it says, the least of the flock shall draw them in. You know, you got the little hats that have ultimately struck Iran first, and you know they're going to bring America into the conflict, and Iran is going to bring Russia and everybody else of their allies into the conflict, and this is what's going to start World War III, man, right? But I'm going to get Ezekiel chapter 38, and I'm going to start at verse 1. It said, and the word of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, right, which represents Russia, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, thus saith the Lord power, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put forth hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, right? And all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even such a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords, right? And that's what the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua is going to do, as you see from what the guy said in the video about how basically you got Russia saying that they're going to help Iran right along with North Korea and all of these other nations. And we know all of that is part of prophecy, man. The Lord is going to bring all of these nations down to the Valley of Jehoshaphat, man, to fight in World War III. And that's ultimately what we see everything ultimately leading up towards. And I'm going to go to a precept just touching on that, but I'm going to finish reading this, right? It says Persia, right? Persia, which is modern day Iran, right? Ethiopia and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmets, right? Because all of these nations are going to join together to fight against America and Israel. That's what's coming, man, right? But this is all being designed and orchestrated by the Heavenly Father, man, to bring forth his will, which is to judge all of these heathen nations, right? So this is Joel chapter 3. And I'm going to start right at the point, verse 9. It said, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, and let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. And that's what you see all of these nations ultimately doing, man. You know, they preparing for war. They preparing to, you know, bomb one another and things of that nature. They're testing nuclear missiles, making sure all of their artillery is ready to shoot when mandatory or whenever they ultimately, you know, press those buttons. The Lord's put the spirit on them to shoot off these nukes. They're making sure everything is set up. That's what they're doing. They're preparing war, right? You got Iran showing off underground missile cities that they got. You got North Korea building artillery and aircraft carriers and things of that nature. So all of these nations are preparing for war, right? And it says, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Verse 10, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say I am strong, right? And that's going into Iran and all of these other nations that were at once upon a time did not possess nuclear capabilities. Now that they have Russia aiding them and being that guard, right, that protector to them, they ultimately are able to get the nuclear sciences and all of the technology and the capabilities that they have now that they're in possession of. You know, because here it is, you got those little hats basically saying that they're trying to stop Iran from getting a nuclear weapon. But what they don't realize is that Iran already has a nuke, man. Come on, man. Russia is already giving them nukes, you know, and you got to be a fool to believe they don't already have them, man. How long they been saying that they're going to build a nuke? And, you know, they've been saying since for years that these people were weeks away from building a nuke. So we know ultimately that they already have them. And the U.S. knows they have them as well. It's just nothing they can do about it because all of these things are being set for prophecy, right? And it says, verse 11, assemble yourselves and come all ye heathen and gather yourselves together round about thither. Cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord, right? Verse 12, let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, right? For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. So the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, is ultimately using World War III as a conflict to gather all of these heathen nations up to ultimately to judge them, man, right? And those are all of those heathen nations that it tells you about in Psalms chapter 83, right? Those that were confederate against the Lord's people, you know, those are going to be all the nations fighting in World War III. Esau, right, which are the so-called white people of the day, you know, Ammon, which are the Japanese, China, Moab, all of these nations, Ishmael, the Arabs, all of these people are going to be dragged to fight in World War III, man. Even a lot of people here in America, man, you know, because that draft is going to come soon. That's what's going to come. You know, that's what Joe Biden had put on the books before he actually got out of office, that, you know, a lot of American citizens between the ages of 18 to 26 can be drafted. And they said both men and women. So when this conflict does heat up, you know, there's going to be a draft, man. So World War III is coming, man. You know, it's all part of prophecy. You know, so I'm going to let this video keep playing.
It'd be helping Israel that the attack on Iran was a coordinated mission with the U.S. I just feel like it's going to happen. It's just...
You already said I got to get one more scripture, Aqua. Bear with me. Because he said it's going to happen, right? And we all know it's going to happen. The men of the Lord have been warning you people. We've been telling you that it's going to happen, and nothing is going to stop it. So this is Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 3. It said, for the vision, right, meaning the prophecies, and what are a part of the prophecies? World War III, right? Jacob's trouble, all of these different events that the men of the Lord have been warning you people about, they're going to take place, man, right? It says it's yet for an appointed time, but at the end shall speak, right? Because we're at the end, so all of these prophecies are beginning to speak. People are beginning to see the rise of people being at odds and variance against each other. People are seeing the beginning of the civil unrest getting ready to brew and take place in America. People are seeing World War III build up over there in the Middle East. So all of these prophecies are no longer tarrying, man, because you're beginning to see them actually manifest to reality, right? So it's going to happen. It says, and not lie, though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come and will not tarry, right? So it's going to take place, man. At the end of the day, all of these things will happen, man. World War III, America being destroyed in 1 hour. All of those things are soon to happen, man.
I think we finally are getting to that point, and I really don't want to admit that at all, but my conspiracy theorist brain is just going nuts, thinking about this. Like Netanyahu was at the White House in April. I don't remember what day, but he was there in April. And there was reporting saying that they had operatives in Iran. So I'm sure they've been planning this for months. And I've been even talking about, I live next to Camp Pendleton. I've been talking as late as October of last year. I've been saying like crazy. I'm like, there are so many more helicopter missions here. There's so many more personnel. There's the training has taken an uptick, and the artillery rounds, oh my God, last weekend, every hour, just boom, 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 boom. It's gotten so bad where I live that my kids now call them boom booms. They're scared of them. And the shelling isn't new, but the frequency has been crazy. And I've been seeing a bunch of videos for the past month of soldiers with their they're like, oh God, I got a lobster dinner. You know what that means? I'm getting deployed. And then, you know what? I actually just saw reporting saying that there's already there's U.S. troops in Israel that are helping respond. So it's, I don't know, it doesn't help. It doesn't help at all that it's Friday the 13th. That just makes it worse. And we have a big military parade tomorrow. I just get this awful feeling that if something nasty happens tomorrow, it's game on. And I don't think any of us want that, because those videos of what they were doing with airstrikes, that's just fucking nuts. What are you going to do when just drones are just raining fire out of the sky? Oh God. You know what? I'm going to start getting some more gas for my generator and start stocking up on shit. If any of this shit actually goes the way it is, we're going to have some serious power outages and all kinds of other shit. So, I don't really know what to say right now. I want this, I don't know how to be positive about these thoughts. We've all been kind of talking about WW3 for a bit, and I have tried so freaking hard to not believe that will ever happen, but...
Right, and that's what he's like a lot of other people out here, they don't want to believe that ultimately these things are going to take place, but, it's going to happen, and I'm going to get a precept, just touching on that, right, what's going to happen through all of these conflicts that we ultimately see happening worldwide with these wars is going to turn nuclear, man. Right? This is Malachi 4:1. It said, for behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, right? And all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch, right? So that's ultimately talking about when this nuclear war takes place, which is going to stem from World War III breaking loose, right? Which is all of these nations ultimately joining together and fighting against America and the land of Israel, man. right? Everybody's going to turn their back on this place, America and Israel, man, right? And that's what we see ultimately everything leading up towards, you know. And I'm going to go and get that precept because I already mentioned it earlier, right? This is Jeremiah chapter 50, and I'm going to get straight to the point. Go to verse 45, right? In the KJV, it says, therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord that he hath taken against Babylon, right? Against this place America, and his proposals that he hath proposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock, right? Talking about those Amalekites over there who are attacking Iran, right? Shall draw them out. Who are they going to draw out? They're going to draw America into this war, right? Which is what you hear the guy over there saying in the video about how you basically allegedly already got American troops that are in Israel helping with everything that's going on, right? And surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. And that's what's going to happen, man. America's going to be destroyed in 1 hour due to those nukes and the laser beams from the chariots that are ultimately going to stem down upon this place during World War III, you know? So, yeah, that's basically what's, you know, coming, you know, in the near future for this place, America, you know, complete and utter destruction, as it says in the book of 2 Peter. All right, I'm going to go to that. Chapter 3. And I'm going to start at verse 10, right? And it says, but the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, right? That's talking about those impacts of those nuclear missiles hitting America, man, and various other places, right? And the elements, right, meaning everything that is in this place, America, it consists of elements from the human body to, you know, water, whatever it may be, trees, everything is made of elements, right? Shall melt with fervent heat, right? What can possibly melt something with fervent heat? Those ICBM missiles, man. Right? The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up, right? So everything over here is going to be destroyed, man. No better way to put it. And that's what's coming, you know, and a lot of people can feel it, of course, you know. That's why you got a lot of people making these videos about World War III and things of that nature. Even people that are not in this truth, you know, you just having random people, this is coming to their mind like, you know, World War III is going to happen. And that's the spirit of the Lord, you know, ultimately putting the spirit on these people to know what's coming, man, you know. And you're either going to ultimately be delivered from this judgment if you are the Lord's elect, or you're going to face this judgment, you know. But this is what's going to be the reward for those people that ultimately take that MOTBC hit, because we know by this time when World War III does get nuclear, right, that chip will already be made mandatory and things of that nature. And those who ultimately do take this chip, you know, the RFID chip that it tells you about in Revelation 13 to 16, you're going to be burnt up by these missiles, man, you know. So, yeah, that's pretty much everything I had to say with today's video. You know, just something quick. Lord's willing to be edifying. To the next time, I'm going to say shalom to the elect.